You wanted a big, we got a big. Introducing the newest San Antonio Spur, Luke Kornet. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. By the way, if you recognize that intro and you picked up on which band that went to, well, kudos. Anyways, the Luke Kornet signing. Last night, I was like, all right, we got him. But now that I've heard about him, done a little research on him, the signing just keeps getting better. Let's get into an article from Pounding the Rock talking about Luke, and then I'm going to give my 2 cents about the positives, maybe any negatives, and some question marks with our lineups moving into the future. The Spurs got the backup big man they so desperately needed. Luke Kornet will join the Silver and Black on a 4-year, $41 million contract. After bouncing around the league, Luke became a key rotation piece in Boston. He was beloved by teammates and trusted by the coaching staff to the point of starting games for one of the best teams in the league. He is a throwback big man, hey David, who uses 7'1" frame well by scoring inside and crashing the offensive glass, shooting 67% from the field and ranking 31st in the league in offensive rebounds per game, despite just playing under 19 minutes a night. He's a good screener and finisher in the pick and roll. The most exciting part of Kornet's game is his defense, something that we desperately need off the bench. The big man allowed a field goal percentage of just about 52% when he was the closest defender at the rim and contested just under 8 shots in that area per 36 minutes. For comparison, Wemby allowed 50% on 8.8 shots contested per 36 minutes. The Spurs are getting a near elite rim protector. That's, yes, let me just say it right here. How many times have you seen Wemby go to the bench and then the paint just parted like the Red Seas and everybody had free reign and will to go score at the rim, especially when Bassi was out? Maybe not so well. Biombo was a star, not even a backup thing. Yeah, it was rough when Wemby came out. Kornet does have his weaknesses. The biggest knock on offense is that he doesn't space the floor after abandoning the three-point shot early in his career. And I talked about that in a previous video. His first couple seasons, he was taking threes and then he just stopped. Luke is a drop big with limited mobility. His hustle and discipline will only get him so far when he's forced to venture to the perimeter. He's susceptible to blow-bys and doesn't always rotate in time to contest closely. Okay. Luke figures to be a key part of the Spurs rotation. Ideally, he'd play 15 to 20 minutes off the bench, most of which would come when Wemby is resting. But there have been rumblings about Wemby wanting to play next to a traditional center, so Luke could start or share the floor with the star big man. In limited sample sizes, the Luke, Al Horford, and Luke KP units did well on both ends in Boston. Definitely going to talk about that in a few moments. The fit is good, and the Spurs addressed a major need. The only questionable aspect of the signing could have been the length of the contract. Luke is about to turn 30 and already has unlimited mobility. He'll be on an affordable salary even at the end of his deal, but as the team gets more expensive, every dollar could count. You guys hear me talk about the CBA all the time. The luxury tax, the limitations that are put in when you're over the cap, they are real. Fortunately, the last year is a team option, so we do have a get-out-of-jail-free card. Luke is not an exciting name. His game isn't flashy. What's undeniable is that he should be a rock-solid backup center that will make guards' lives easier with his screening, will protect the paint, and will do all the little things that contribute to winning. That's what I like to read, that last sentence there, contributing to winning. All right. TSRs rundown. The positives. He's legit big. 7'1". And we got some girth. 250 pounds. He is a legit big. He's an NBA champion, which means playoff experience. We now have 2 former NBA champions on our roster. Luke Kornet, and let's not forget, Harrison Barnes. Lots of playoff experience between the two of them. It's going to help our bench so much when it's just going to help our bench. I've already said it previously during the article, the bench, the defense is just, we know some of the guys on the bench. I want to sit here and put out names, but getting a defensive upgrade off the bench is crucial. And he is a young 30 next season. What do I mean by that? He's been in the league 8 years, but because he's bounced around so much and had limited opportunities, maybe performance-based or whatever, he's only played in 353 games. He's really hasn't played a lot of games until his recent success in Boston the last 3 years. So I'm going to call him a young 30. He doesn't have a lot of mileage, whereas some players going into year 8 or year 9 probably have played, over 600 games maybe? And I got to say, I've listened to some Boston sports analysis this morning, and everything they're saying I like. He says a character guy. He's funny. He's got apparently he does a lot of quotes or funny quips. And just hearing about him, he seems Spursy. That's a win-win. And I will say this, good for him. He got paid. He got a contract. He's set for life. He's probably already set for life on his prior contract. But now he's really set for life. As far as any negatives, I questioned this last night. Was it a slight overpay? Because there was a little bit of sticker shock. I was like, 4 years for $41 million? I figured he more like be a $7 to $8 million guy. But I will say this, Spurs fans. We don't know what other teams were offering. Other teams could have been offering $8 or $9 million. The Spurs had to come in at 10 to get the guy they wanted. We may never know what was going on in the background. So if that was the market price, then it is what it is. And one thing I want to say that's a negative that's not related to our Spurs, but you got to keep an eye on it. The Rockets and the Hawks just got better. The Rockets, of course, in our conference, they are truly going in on win now with Kevin Durant. And then the Hawks getting better is really making that pick swap and Hawks pick in 2 years. I just see the values just dropping in front of me. I'm like, oh, man. The two teams I don't want to see get better are getting better. As far as any question marks, with Luke, will he shoot threes again? I looked at his wiki page this morning, and it says he holds the NCAA record for three-pointers made by a 7-footer with 150. So I don't know if the Spurs will unlock that part of his game. I don't know if he wants to unlock part of that game. It's got to still be there somewhere. You don't just lose that permanently. So that's a big question mark there. Then the other question mark is what happens with their lineups. Me personally, at least not right away, I don't see the Wemby and Luke Twin Towers 2.0, if we want to call them that. I don't see them together unless the three-point shooting gets so much better. I mean, I could see him out there with Barnes of a sub, but then the big giant question mark is which point guard? Who's going to run the offense? Fox, Castle, Harper, at the time of this video, not necessarily known for the three-point shooting. And yes, the two bigs work with the Celtics having KP and him out there or him and Al, but they have snipers on their team. They could afford to have two bigs to space the floor. We don't have that at the moment. And then I'll finish with this, Spurs fans. We have two, if I'm looking at everything correct, we have 2 roster spots remaining. And we are over the salary cap. From everything I'm reading says we're over the cap, which is going to limit who we can sign. One of you said last night we can sign a player for $5 million. I'm assuming the other player would be for the league minimum $2 million. And then that's it for free agency. I have no idea what they're going to do. A lot of you say, do we have the money to sign Gershon Yabusele? All sign points to no. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But it seems like we're going to have to get a guy that's kind of a smallest contract, like a minimal contract, maybe like a Biyombo if Mamu comes back. Those type of contracts, the low twos. I think we're going to be very limited on what we can do moving forward unless we make a trade. Spurs fans, now that we've talked about him a little more, if you weren't too familiar with Luke Kornet before last night, I knew who he was, but I certainly didn't have as much information as I have now this morning. Does the signing just keep getting better for you? For me, it definitely does. Drop a comment down below about everything, how you're feeling. Hit the thumbs up, like for the channel, and subscribe to become part of our awesome Spurs community. I thank you, and as always, go Luke, go!